What's one mistake that you made as a leader that you learned from? You spoke about criticism and learning. When you look back at your career and leadership, and potentially even leadership you take into business, what's either a mistake or area that you still have growth in, or you feel like you still have to learn on? You are clearly someone that's skilled at being aware and self-awareness to grow. So if I ask you that question, does anything come into your mind, or was there maybe it was your early days of leadership and a mistake that maybe you can help us prevent from making that mistake?
I think the one thing that stands out, and to be fair, Ryan, I sound super confident and I deliver my views on leadership with confidence, but I make mistakes weekly. It's leadership is not, you don't get to a certain level and then it's done. So, but one of the things that sticks out for me was it was actually right in the beginning of my transition from rugby player to the real world. And in fact, it was quite a sort of a hybrid transition, because I got the role of CEO of the Sharks. I'd never had a real job, to be fair, and that was it. I think, and I was sort of remote control, trying to read the situation from London, sitting on my couch in St Albans, with regard to the coaching staff at the Sharks, because the previous year, who'd been there for 20 years, he was a legend of the game. He transformed the Banana Boys into the Sharks, and he was now being let go for this youngster, myself. But the coach, John Plumtree, at the time hadn't been renewed, so I found it strange, because I played under Plum, and Plum was a pretty good coach in my time. And so I started doing a whole bunch of research, because I was super keen. I wanted to be on top of this thing, even though I was making calls from overseas and not really there. So I was phoning management and players, and I was phoning everyone around, and I ended up making an opinion. And I know I said you have to listen more than you, but I didn't tick all my boxes when it came to this kind of decision, because all I did was get feedback from everyone around the situation. And the only person that I never called was John Plumtree, to get his version of it, because who knows, it might have validated the decision. But I ended up not renewing his. There was there was massive drama around it, and it was leaked into the press, and it started my tenure on an unbelievably rocky road. But in hindsight, I listened too much. I should have, in hindsight, realized my challenge. I was in London. I should have just to be fair, I was waiting for my youngest to be born. So she had to be 9 days old before I could put her on a British Airways flight. But I should have waited until then, and I should have said, all bets are off. Let me get there and actually face to face, talk to people, feel people, see body language, and understand the situation properly. And that was my mistake. I made a big decision from a distance.